Okay, good morning. Happy Sunday morning to you. Dion here. And I am deep in thought. And then it occurred to me that I should really think out loud and share my thoughts with you. See, last night, I don't remember what my dream was, but I woke up this morning with the word intention on my mind, particularly around the power of intention. I really don't remember the dream at all, but this word was very loud for me. And then, so I spent a little bit of time thinking about it this morning. And then when I went to my inbox, I see that I had a message from somebody who's in Spain. Now, next week, I'm working in Spain and I'm really excited about going. And there's a woman that I know there, and we're making arrangements to meet up. So we started a conversation last night about where she is. And uh, we've worked out that she's halfway between the airport and the hotel. And so she's suggesting that I get on the train and get to this halfway point, and then she'll drive me to the hotel and we can stop off and have some lunch or, something to eat. And that sounds like an amazing plan. Like when I read that this morning, oh my goodness, it really excited me because my plan was to get an Uber from the airport straight to the hotel. But then I started picturing in my mind what it would be like to travel to through Spain on the train. And it's a little bit scary for me traveling alone and in a country that I don't know, not speaking the language, all of that stuff. But there's another part of me that's very, very turned on to that idea. And it's a part of me that's made an intention that I've just had a recent birthday. And I've made this intention to live a full life. That next year I'm 60 and I feel like I'm just getting started. And as I was 58 going into 59, I was thinking to myself, what am I intending for the year ahead? And it is that I just seize the day, that I say yes to my desires. I go for things more. And so when she said get the train, I'm thinking, yeah, that's something I'd really, really enjoy doing. Like it would feel like an adventure, right? So it carried on this thinking that started in my dream life last night around the whole thing about the power of intention. See, I made the intention that I'm going to live fully, and here comes this experience that makes it an easy yes for me to say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for it. And so I've been musing on the power of intention, and then this story comes back to me about a very powerful experience that I've had with setting intention. And I want to share the story with you this morning because I think that there's a message in here somewhere about the power of intention. So, years ago, I think I want to say like 10 years ago, something like that. I was going to Jamaica, like I'm from Jamaica and we have a home there. So, um, I visit there frequently. And I was going to Jamaica, and there was a social media friend connection that I had who was going to be in Jamaica around the same time as me. She was going to be in Jamaica. I was going before her. She was coming way after us. So, because we hadn't got a really strict itinerary, neither of us knew where we were going to be on any set time, or we were going to be staying in different places, and we didn't know where we were going to be on any set day. And so we decided that it'd be great to meet up in Jamaica, but that it wasn't looking possible to sync our diaries at the time of the conversation, but that we'd set our intention to to meet up in Jamaica. It sounded really great, and I knew the date she was coming, and I knew that I don't remember if I knew where she was going to be staying, but we made the intention. We set the intention that somehow, some way on the island, we would meet up in Jamaica. And the intention was set. Anyway, long story short, we get to Jamaica. I get to Jamaica and having a wonderful time, moving around, being spontaneous, living a great experience. Jamaica's such a great place. If you haven't been, you really should check it out. And then one day we go. I was with my friend who lives in Montego Bay, and we decided that we were going to go and stay overnight in a local hotel. And so I drove to my friend in Montego Bay, and we were on our way to, we were just hanging out. We were driving around Montego Bay. We were doing a bit of shopping. We were, taking in the views, and then decided to go to the hotel. When on the way to the hotel, I had this thought, oh, Sonia's going to be in Jamaica today. I'm sure it's sometime around now that she travels to Jamaica. So I thought I would send her a message. So I send her a message. I'm in the car with my friend driving around Montego Bay. And I say, hey, are you in Jamaica yet? And she says, yes. And so I say, well, where are you? She says, I'm in Montego Bay. I say, wow, so am I. Like, you have to understand, I was in the south and now I'm in the north. And so is she. So she says, well, where are you staying? I say, well, I'm staying at the Rio. And she says, oh, gosh, it's not far. Like, we're near there. I'm coming now. So she drives over to meet us at the hotel. And it was so amazing because I was so excited. We set this intention, and here it was playing out that it was coming to pass. So she gets out of the car and we run and we hug each other. And then, we're really excited. I introduce her to my friend. My friend has this little puzzled look on her face. And she says, were you in that shop? We remember we were shopping earlier on that day. And we went into a shop, and my friend actually bumped into my friend from England. She actually bumped into her in that shop in Montego Bay earlier on that day. And she remembered, I don't know I didn't see her. I was in the same shop, but she said, yes, I was in that shop. Oh my God, you're the woman who I bumped into. Oh my goodness. So it was it was jaw-droppingly powerful to see how just all of what must have gone into allowing us to be in that same shop that morning, and then be in Montego Bay, be in that same shop, and now here we are at the hotel meeting up. And we both agreed that this was a very powerful demonstration, example of the power of intention. I'm reminded of this today. I made some notes. Intention is a spiritual and a sovereign technology that invisible realms begin coordinating on our behalf when we set real intention, not just wishy-washy wishes, like, oh, that'd be nice. But when we really hold an intention for something, it activates things in other realms. It activates invisible realms to work and orchestrate on our behalf. Invisible realms begin coordinating on our behalf. Divine orchestration responds to intention. Realms beyond logic and control are activated, and true intention communicates with invisible forces that work on our behalf. I think it was Ralph Waldo I'm gonna find the quote and put it in the caption. But there's a quote that talks about when we make a decision, when we make a firm decision, when we set our intention, then invisible forces start organizing and arranging for that thing to come to pass. When I think about what it must have taken for Sonia and I to be on the island at the same time, in the same place, in the same part of Jamaica, in the same shop, and then later on in the hotel, like, I think about that thought that came to me that said, "Oh, isn't Sonia supposed to be in Jamaica now?" Like, that thought just it just dawned on me. Like, as I was in the car that day, I hadn't thought about her since I'd been on the holiday. Do you see all of the things that are happening to make the intention come to pass. It's breathtaking. It's got my attention this morning, and I'm really hoping that it's exciting you like it's exciting me. That true intention communicates with invisible realms, not just talking about vague hopes um or wishy-washy dreams. I'm talking about sovereign intention, the kind that activates divine assistance, the kind that is purposeful, intention that is meaningful for not just yourself, but for others. That the kind of intention, this is what I'm thinking about today. I'm thinking about the kind of intention that we could, as sovereign leaders, as women in senior leadership, as women who are ushering business and the marketplace into a whole new way of being and doing and seeing itself, women who are concerned with transforming outcomes. What if we set real intention to be all that we were born to be? The kind of leader, the kind of catalyst, the kind of change maker, the kind of influential voice that we have the potential to be, that it's written in our DNA that we are here to be. What if we set the intention that that wasn't going to just go to our grave with us, that we were going to actually manifest as that was going to come out of our lives, that was going to come out of our leadership? What if we set the intention for that? And what if we set the intention for impossible change in our industry, in our organizations, in our field, in our world, in our nations, in our communities? What if we set the intention, not just a wishy-washy whim, but we set the intention that this impossible thing is going to come to pass? I remember years ago reading the story of how Kennedy, the United States president, made a declaration. He said, "We're going to send man to the moon." And it wasn't that they knew how to do that. It wasn't that, in fact, that was an impossible thing. When he said it, it seemed impossible. But what happened was his declaration alone, his intentionality around this alone got NASA to work, got people thinking about how do we make this happen. It activated the thinking that later on catapulted man to the moon. And that's what I'm thinking about intention today. What if you and I, as women in senior leadership, decided to get intentional, first of all, about our own leadership and what our wildest dreams are, what our wildest visions are for the outcome of our own leadership, what we want our leadership to accomplish, what we want our leadership to be a catalyst for, what we want our leadership to transform, what we want our leadership to be like. What if you could be a powerful, influential, new breed force in your space? What if you set an intention around being her? And what if we set an intention around the transformation of your organization and your industry and your field's results? What if we set an intention that your field would be looking something like it doesn't look right now? These are my thoughts for today, and I would love to know how they're landing for you. What it would be like if you set the intention for the impossible in your leadership and in your life and in your industry and in your field. Just a thought. Let me know what you think.